So, have you ever thought about why you might be very, very sad, or why you might have a better feeling when you're by yourself, and you might have a very tense feeling when you're in public around a lot of people? Well, that explains of you being an introvert. Now, an introvert is somebody who prefers to be by themselves rather than other people, or somebody who doesn't like being in public at all. Now, the opposite of that would be an extrovert, of course, which is somebody who likes to be in public and talking to a lot of people. Now, why does this relate to me? Well, I would say that in the past, I was extremely, and I mean extremely, an introvert. In other words, I would not talk to people. I would always avoid people, like all over the place. I would just be very, very antisocial. Of course, as of recent, I've decided to be a bit more open. I'm still a bit timid, I will not gonna lie about that, but I am trying to work on myself to be a bit more social. But why am I talking about this today? Well, I want to talk about how social media can actually be a factor towards that. Oh yes, social media, the wonderful tool of giving away information to everybody around the world from different countries, different regions, or even somebody next to your house or your friends or basically anywhere, in other words. And because of that, you are able to express your opinion without coming to somebody up front. Now, of course, you can still work on your social skills by coming up to people, but you always need something or something that you can stand on, like a foundation. Because if you don't have a foundation, then how are you going to grow, obviously? You just need one. And if you think about it, with how social media is, because of how much it's used, there is a benefit towards it. So you got to keep that in mind. The three main points I want to talk about today is how social media can influence reaction from others, how it can gain social awareness, and how it can help gain courage to speak up. So let's get into it, shall we? Right? So social media, of course, has different platforms. Specifically on Facebook, there are over 2 billion registered users from the organization measured by Our World Data. So, because of that, it gives an idea of how many people are on Facebook and just how many eyes. If you multiply that by 2, you're gonna have basically, like, let's just say a lot of eyes, about 4 billion eyes looking at information. And because of it, you're gonna have different reactions, good reactions, bad reactions, neutral reactions. It's going to be mixed on how it is. And because of it, you might take in those reactions differently, either good, bad, or neutral, like I said. And it also gives an idea of how you got to think about how other people will be thinking about you in general. In other words, you may not like somebody, making fun of your post, but you got to think about it that not everybody is going to think the same way as you, which can in the long run help you out the way you think towards other people's opinions, which can make you take them better or for the worse. So take that as you will. The next part I want to talk about is how social media can help out with social awareness. Now, what I mean by that is how with social media, certain words or certain ideas will be pushed onto other people. And, taking it in can also be different for different people. So, for example, if you find that somebody is very aggressive or somebody who's not really happy with what you say, you can just take it as it is and, try to think about how you say your words for the next time. Because, as they say, while words are very powerful, you must be aware of what you say, because anything can always be offensive towards somebody, at least if they don't think it is, but it is in the world of social media, so that's how it is. So an example of this would be how 95% of people would be saying that they are aware, but only 15% are aware of what they say. And this was a study done on Harvard through a business review. So that shows that even though people might be saying that they are aware, they may not be aware at all. So it kind of shows that you got to be a bit more self-reflective about the words you say or how you perceive things through social media, which in the long run can help you out have a bigger mindset of being a bit more open towards other ideas through words. So you have that. And the final point I want to talk about is how social media can help out with being more openly social. And an example of that would be how, well, specifically with how it is, America has 15 million American adults with a social anxiety disorder. And this was a study done by Mental Health America. And, you know, without social anxiety it can be a very hard thing to cope with sometimes. And people trying to control it, and it's honestly a really hard thing to control at times. So, without social media you can use social media to have an idea of how being open and just giving out your ideas, just posting your ideas online, it can help you think more, write down your thoughts without being worried about not being able to say them. Because if you have a lot of things on your mind but you don't want to say them, then that's going to make you even more worried about what you want to say in general. So because of it, you want to be a bit more open with what you say. Of course, it does take a lot of time to do that, but you gotta think about it with how it is. In conclusion, with how social media it is a very powerful tool. Yes, there are pros and cons, but with how social media I believe that it is a way that people can become more social. Now, I will say this, as social media is a thing that's very powerful. Don't give up if you are an introvert or very timid, because while you might have a way of being despair or disappointed in yourself, just know that you can always improve yourself and become more social, because in the long run, the more you do it and the more you believe in yourself, the more you'll be happy and make yourself better. That's it for this speech.